Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It is a wonderful day today, Wednesday evening. Hope you guys are doing amazing. We have Bitcoin's current price, 116,381. Okay. A lot of volatility today, as you can see. We had our highs, we had our lows. In just 24 hours, we were just as high as 117,286, which is, by the way, a new recent high. And we went as far low as 114,754. That's not that bad, and I was expecting much worse, actually. I was expecting us to at least go to 114,000, maybe even bleed out a little bit under that, so 113,000 something hundred, right? As long as we don't break this uptrend, the super trend green line that's invalidated at 113,400. So luckily that did not happen. We actually ended up just simply dropping during times of volatility, which happened to be at the afternoon of today from 12 to 4. 2 o'clock is when we had the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, and we had our interest rate decision for the United States, which came in line with expectations. Spoiler alert, I'm sure you guys are already aware of it. We're going to discuss the Fed's projections, what they see, what they think about the economy, Jerome Powell's, you know, his answers to a lot of people's questions. We'll be going all of that in more detail. It wasn't just a Bank of the United States. It wasn't just the Federal Reserve of the United States. It was also Bank of Canada, who also had rate cuts today. We'll be going over all of that, and also the Canadian economy, which is doing so good, by the way. No, it isn't. It's doing really bad. So there we go. Bitcoin's on its way back up. We'll be discussing the reason why we've come back up eventually. My portfolio is looking really good. So, once again, Powell's comments coming in clutch. Awfully dovish, so everything is looking good. Our next resistance, of course, it's going to be difficult to break above 118,000. I'll give you that. After that, though, when we do break above that, should be lots of liquidations from short positions here. That could easily shoot us up to 120, easily. And then, it's all up to, I'm pretty sure this is the fib extension, where we could see some resistance at 122, and then 124,000, of course. The all-time high and third resistance from here. Can we hit that this week? Probably. Keep in mind that Friday is a very important day as well in terms of, what do they call it? Like, the triple volatility thing. There's lots of options expiring on that day from 3 different sources. I forget what specifically it was called, but it will bring some volatility into the markets. So that's something we should be paying attention to. Will that be enough, though? I'm not too sure. That's why I said probably, because I don't see it as very likely, but the chance is always there. We got the FOMC out of the way. What's next, right? Our projections are all set. Everything is looking in line with expectations. We should go up from here. Wouldn't you agree? Some people disagree, but we'll see. We'll get into all that later. So Bitcoin, like I said, looking really strong, leading the way, keeping the alts intact. I know it says we're 0% movement today, but that's because we were practically the same amount a little bit yesterday, right? So yeah, overall, it's looking really good. Let's have a look at Ethereum. It is up almost 2% today. Good recovery. 4,600 is the current price. We bottomed out over here. A lot of volatility. 4,423 was our low. But then we immediately went up to 4,000. Highest was 4,617 today. So we're just below that, 4,603. Uptrend is still maintained. I will probably just have to readjust it. And this is a long-term uptrend. Yeah. So, good bounce on that. I'll just slightly readjust this. It's still intact, like, perfectly. This is just me micro-adjusting on the 4-hour chart. Not necessarily overbought or oversold yet, so the momentum can continue. We could even, who knows, Ethereum can bring some surprises and boost us up to 4,700 plus. We could see that very soon. But there is a resistance there that we got to pay attention to. A lot of barriers to break, of course, from here. There's no more downtrends, which is a good thing for Ethereum. I know that was one thing that we were mainly struggling with in the past couple of months, but that's all gone behind us now. We are now focusing on uptrends and basically levels that we have hit before. So first one is 4,766. I don't pay too much attention to this. Rather, the 2021's all-time high, which is 4,865, and then our actual all-time high, 4,956, which by then you would also be looking at the 5,000 psychological resistance. So yeah, that's all we got for Ethereum, really. Solana up 3.85%, already on its way back up as if nothing happened. Had a trigger order down here, 213, thought it would drop down there, but didn't go that far below, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, rather, for others who are actually in it. I just wanted exposition into Solana, but now it's too late. Well, we'll see. 250 is its resistance from recent highs, of course. We are able to break that, should continue going higher to 261 is our next target. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Below in chunks, welcome. Pengu come back in the last couple hours. Let's keep running until late November. Yes. We are still expecting things to continue rising up until around that time, October, November. Yeah, if you're still holding on to your position, I think you should be in good profit, because I did see a lot of meme coins recovering today. And yeah, Pengu is up 8%. That is crazy. Good movement. I already exited somewhere here, I think. But it's on its way back up. That's pretty good. I don't know what these lines are. These are resistances. So you got a resistance basically soon. Especially with this downtrend that we have going on. This line. So, you know, might cost us to break above this. We're also approaching an overpurchased area. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get maybe a little movement like this before we continue higher. Right? A little projection there for you. But overall, like, I still think if you hold on to it for a while longer, yeah, the breakout, once it does happen, should be pretty big. So yeah, waiting till November is indeed the play. I'll agree with that. Good stuff, man. XRP also on its way up. I saw it at 303 a couple seconds ago. Well, it's already up at 308. Not actually a couple seconds ago. Like, I don't know. I looked at the charts a couple hours ago. It's already on its way back up. I do have exposition to it, so I kind of wanted to increase my exposition to XRP, but whatever. It's a slow mover anyway, for now though. So I'll just leave it there where it's at. I don't think I made any other entries at all. This happened on 15th. That happened in Sonic. Okay, what about USDC? Yesterday I purchased more Aave, it looks like. Okay, we'll review that. Where's my purchase? Here. I got 2222 on Aave. Crazy. So yeah, this got filled. Looks good. This one at the bottom did not yet, although I wasn't expecting it to either way. Uptrend is maintained overall for Aave, so I'll just have to kind of readjust this. This downtrend is gone. Finally. I'm gonna have to increase my time frame here. Where is our uptrend for Aave now? I'm seeing a couple lines over here. It's not looking like... It looks okay. How about from here? That does not look okay. That does not look okay. This kind of looks okay. I don't know. This looks a little steep, or as if I'm missing a couple of lines. I'll keep those two for now. Okay, well. And lock this in place. Okay. Resistance for Aave 316. I'm finally in good profit. I have been in better profit before, so I think that could get achieved easily once again. Sometimes Aave will have its big movements, so we'll see if we get that. Sui is having an awesome day today. Up 5.78%. I'm very much in the green. It did not increase my exposition, unfortunately. It missed by an inch. And yeah, it just shot up. I knew something like this was going to happen. Whatever. 380 is the current price. We're looking to hit 388 or maybe 390. You could look as a resistance. And then $4. Keep in mind I do also have higher purchases in my other accounts, so I don't plan on taking any profits on SUI yet. Maybe I will also hold until like October, November before I start considering any of that. For now, though, I do have my target at 535 just in case. Just in case it decides to shoot up or something. I'll be content with taking some profits. Now that we're talking about SUI, let's have a look at Aptos, which is also up a good amount today. 3.23%, up 365 on my portfolio. I did reinforce another entry here, which it increased my average price, but I wanted a larger exposition into Aptos, and ultimately I'm satisfied with it because it played out perfectly. I kind of wanted to do the same thing, but with SUI, except that it did not get filled over here, right? So that was a miss. Whatever, can't win them all. 458 to the current price of Aptos. I still think it's a safe play. Is it really? You liquidate at 292. That's pretty safe in my opinion. If you want to do a 3x play on Aptos. Good upside potential, you know, and odds of it getting liquidated are not that large. But this is also not financial advice, so, you know, do whatever you want. Chainlink, bounced off right at my entry here, so I didn't really see a negative number. And now we're at 2403. This order at 2222 did not get filled. Might delete. We technically are still in a downtrend for Chainlink though. Although I think that could switch up pretty soon. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. For now, I'll just keep this order here just in case, you know. Wasn't too crazy for Chainlink, the kind of volatility today. I mean, the movement to the upside is much gracious, but yeah. Cardano also up a little bit, 91 cents. Is your average entry still at 92 blowing chunks? Because if so, you're about to be in the green soon. Very slightly. But yeah, honestly, Cardano, what is going on? It should be up to like $1 by now. $1 plus, at least. It's been underperforming compared to the rest, I'll admit that. Resistance for it after we break, of course, 92 would be 95. Let's see. Yeah, you're still at 92. Okay, cool. Any good US exchanges for leverage trading? The thing is, okay, let me see. I'm not from the US, so I wouldn't know which one would actually work or not. I'm seeing stuff like Binance and Coinbase, although I don't know if they actually allow leverage trading. They also require like KYC and all that stuff, right? I would recommend BitUnix. There's a link in the description for that. That doesn't require KYC. You just create your account. You send crypto toward that so that you could sell it for USDT and then trade that USDT in the futures market with leverage, right? That's one option. That's one thing you could do. Or BingX, but BingX is also not... It's restricted in Canada or US, but I use my Ecuadorian identity for it, so that's my workaround. And it's, I genuinely like the exchange, you know? They've been friendly to me too. I've got some of their merch. I still have their little pen. I have a keychain that they gave me. They gave me a coffee cup and a notebook. Really high quality notebook. Like with a metal cover. I haven't written anything in it because it's just so precious. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And also a mouse pad, the one I'm currently using. Oh my gosh, I don't have a webcam, so I can't really show you guys. But yeah, I like BingX. So that's why I main this one. They've also got a lot of features. The perpetual futures is one thing, and then the standard futures is another thing, you know. Standard futures would have, like, if I made multiple entries, you would see each row with its own entry, and then perpetual futures kind of combines everything into one. I prefer the combination of everything into one, because it averages out the prices, right? And, you know, instead of seeing them, like, I've had, like, 60 operations open at once, and I'd have to flip through all these pages and, like, in the worst of days, try to reinforce my positions so that I don't get liquidated by adding more margin. And that was a hassle, and some of them slipped me, like Ethereum, for example. The times when Ethereum was crashing down to 1,300, it was brutal. So I couldn't save a lot of those positions. It was too much to keep track of. I did get overwhelmed. So then I decided, you know what? I'll switch to perpetual futures. They charge you more fees, like in maker and taker fees. But I feel like it's worth it to have everything organized, in my opinion. And they also allow USDC. USDC, it's, you'll know what's going on with USDC and USDT, the regulation thing, right? Circle has their stuff in order, right? That's why we can purchase it in normal Canadian exchanges or American exchanges, I assume. And USDT, not quite. We're not allowed to purchase that. But now Tether is coming out with their new stablecoin, USAT, right? Which I talked about. I don't hope I don't get a lot of bot comments on this, but my last video that I made talking about USAT was flooded with bots. But whatever. USAT, it should fix a lot of those issues with regulation, especially in compliance with the Genius Act and all that stuff that's coming out of the US. So that way Tether can have a fair shot of a competition to USDC, to Circle, right? There's that also. Yeah, that's really it. Anyways, to answer your question, yeah, Bit Unix, my recommendation. It's pretty simple to use. I mean, if you're like me, I guess. Because I've gotten used to this kind of stuff. World Liberty Financial, okay. 2196. Did not get my order filled. I don't think it ever will. I'll leave it there though. Yeah, basically I do have 1 Bitcoin on 3x leverage, right? I dropped 40 grand on Bitcoin. And of course 40 times 3, that's 120,000. And Bitcoin's price was 100 and average price 112,000 almost. Right, so I have 1.07 Bitcoin. Every 1,000 that you see go up in Bitcoin is $1,000 for me, basically. That's why I like the power of leverage, right? If I was just buying Bitcoin on spot, I'd be 1/3 of what I'm seeing in terms of gains right here, right? But there's also less risk with it, but come on. No risk, no reward. And it's not even that bad. 3x leverage, you get liquidated at 75,000. Will we ever see Bitcoin at 75,000 ever again? Probably not. Don't want to jinx it, but, you know. Worst case scenario, I think 80,000. Like, if a bear market does hit us really hard in 2026, 80,000. That's all I'm giving it. But by then, I'll be already out of the market. Like, that's why I put a super conservative take profit on my Bitcoin position at 135,000. I think we're going to go much higher than 135, maybe 150, maybe 170. Some AI projections give like 200,000 as a base case. So yeah, there's that going on. But like I said, it's 135,000. I think it's good enough. Just take me out. Cuz it's dangerous. We're here to, you know, steal money from other people in the futures market. It's all a matter of, you know, I try to get in early and you get in later. You are my exit liquidity. I have more crypto exposure than you and you thought you were crazy. Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. So, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. So far everything's been going good for me, but hey, everybody's a genius in a bull market, so you can never go wrong. Especially with what we are expecting for the end of this year. Could be really good. Stellar is on its way back up as well. 39,666. Okay. We're looking at a resistance at 41. I don't know what specific number to give you here, but yeah, 41.5, I guess. I'm still in the green with Stellar, so I'm liking it. These positions are good so far. Would I want more exposition to, or would I want exposition to rather, because I don't have them yet, would have been Hyperliquid, which I'm very late on. Tau, BitTensor, which is also having its good movement today. I'm really starting to feel the FOMO on this one. Kind of wanted to get in on it before, but I don't know. And What else did I want? Maybe I'll start getting into Polkadot, although I don't know if I fully trust it yet. Of course, I would like Solana back. Man, I would be in so much profit with Solana by now if that dumb stop loss didn't take me out. The bull has been tough in most alts compared to ETH and Bitcoin. That's true, but it's because it hasn't fully arrived yet. Just gotta give it a bit more time, and then we'll have the face-melting gains that they talk about all over Twitter. I don't know, I shouldn't be trusting the people on Twitter. Never. But it's true, no, like, look at previous cycles. I've seen it in 2021. And what, you think there was more money available in the world back in 2021 than there is today? I don't think so. We have more money out right now. Money printer just got turned on here. Quantitative easing is starting. We're expecting 2 more rate cuts for the end of the year, so that's 3 in total for this year. Everything should be good. It's all perfect for good preparation and all for the alt season. Yeah. I increased more exposition on Sonic. I think I already covered this one, though. I mean, we're already on the way back up here. Should get rid of these lines. I'm sure we're going to search to hit this downtrend and hopefully try to break out of that. If so, it should take us to 32 on Sonic. Current price is 30.98, almost 31 cents. Average entry is 30.28. This order did not get filled, unfortunately. That's fine. And Litecoin. Did we hit 120 yet? No, we didn't. 117. So 120 is the next stop. Still. I still got some Litecoin there. Yeah, that's all. Great. Moving on, we have some news to talk about in terms of what to expect for this week. One of the things is, well, we know that Trump is always going to be meeting up with a lot of world leaders. We know that he's going to be meeting with Xi Jinping on Friday, hopefully getting something resolved there. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of India, well, he had a birthday, he's 75, and he is thanking President Trump for the phone call, warm greetings, and he says, like you, I am also fully committed to taking the India-US comprehensive and global partnership to new heights, and we support your initiatives toward a peaceful resolution of the Ukraine conflict. Okay, some more developments in Ukraine, hopefully. This comes after, of course, we see Trump urging NATO countries to also put tariffs on both India and China, allies of Russia and biggest buyers of Russian oil, to kind of pressure Russia into ending the Ukraine war. Let's hope that, they actually get it on. Because we need that war to end. And when it does, peace is bullish for crypto, so should also be a good catalyst to get us up higher. Fed interest rate decision happened today. We got a 25 basis point rate cut, the first cut of 2025. The median outlook is 50 more basis point rate cuts this year, so that's 25 and 25 in the next 2 meetings. Government Moran dissented, so he actually got to vote instead of Fed Lisa Cook, I think. So it is true. And he is the only one from the Fed who actually voted for a 50 basis point rate cut. So that's our guy right there. Trump made the right call in putting this guy in replacement for Fed Lisa Cook. There was notes rising downside risks to job. 6 officials see no more cuts, but 9 see 2 more cuts. So the Fed is shifting focus toward the labor market. That's like the main idea that's going on. There was also some more comments from Fed Chair Powell, which it's all kind of summarized here, so I'll try to read through this. Powell says, inflation has risen recently, remains somewhat elevated. Moderation in GDP growth largely reflects consumer spending slowdown. Also said job gains are running below break-even rate. The payroll job gains have slowed significantly, reflecting lower immigration, lower participation. That's to be expected. And beyond to next year, most inflation expectation measures are consistent with our 2% goal, which is good. It gives more room for more basis point rate cuts. Trump tariffs raising prices on certain goods. The effects remain to be seen. That's an old story that's been told every meeting. Increase in goods prices accounts for most of inflation increase this year. Expect tariff-driven price increases to continue this year and next year. All right, so we're going to keep hearing that excuse all the time. Revised job numbers, which we had a huge revision to the downside if you're not aware for the past couple of months. This means that the labor market is no longer solid, and part of the reason why they cut, right? It was them shifting their focus towards the labor market. They got to save that to balance the economy. There was not widespread support for a 50 basis point cut today. As we know, only the new guy appointed by Trump, Moran, was the only one who was willing to do a 50 basis point rate cut. Suspicious. Could think of today's cut as a risk management cut, is what he said. We need to remain fully committed to restoring 2% inflation. People more at the margins having hard time finding jobs, myself included. We are in a meeting by meeting situation. We are going to be looking at the data. Of course, you have to. Don't know that quarter point cut will make a huge difference. We will start with a quarter point cut. Markets are pricing in a rate path, though not blessing that path. What? Okay. Cool. So we got that going on. Basically, good stuff. He did talk as we would hope he would talk, with giving more, leaving the space open for more rate cuts to happen. That's kind of what we want to hear. When he said we will continue to reduce the size of our balance sheet, it means the liquidity will keep draining. One of the things that he said. So this is kind of like the mixed kind of impact that we're getting here. Even if the rate cuts are on the table, quantitative tightening isn't stopping. Less money in the system equals tougher conditions ahead, which could be a bearish signal for risk assets. I'm not sure if I fully believe that, because I think like once the rate cuts start happening, it's rare that they'll cut once and then they'll stop. Like that really doesn't happen. It usually goes on a consecutive basis, like back to back after each meeting until they stop. And when they stop, they'll stop for a period of time. Kind of like what they did last year, right? Last year they were cutting. Some blame it on like the elections. They were cutting to make the Democrats look good. And as soon as Republicans get in office, they stop cutting rates. Okay, that's one argument. But realistically, sure, we had our rate cuts last year. We stopped, and now we're getting our first rate cut at last, after almost a whole year. So there's that. Trump posted this on Truth Social. Of course, he has something to say about it. Jerome Powell just cut interest rates by a tiny 25 basis points. Wow, what a genius move, said no one ever. Total idiot. Could have been 100, could have been 200. That means like 1% or 2%. If I were running the Fed, we'd be cutting rates faster than Sleepy Joe can eat an ice cream. Can't get brain freeze if you don't have a brain. Okay. Yeah, this is Trump doing the funny. No, I don't think this is real, is it? This does not look real. No, okay, it's not real. It's not real. I thought it was real. That's why I saved it. Aw, you trolls. I'm noticing because the font is, like, different. Let's pick up the pace. Jerome, 100 basis point next meeting or you're fired. Okay, never mind. It's not real. But he did say something else that I don't think I saved here. Hold on. Here. Oh, this is something different, though. Yeah, I'll talk about this later. Anyway. It would be funny, though, if Trump actually gave, like, an actual remark on what Jerome Powell did. I'm pretty sure that he did. He must have, right? I gotta find it, though. September 16. No, this is from yesterday. He actually did not comment anything at all. Okay, that's boring. Moving on. We had apparently $11 billion in stablecoins that flowed into the exchanges before the FOMC meeting. Big money they were preparing to buy, and that is part of the reason why the drops were quite limited. We did have a drop while the meetings were taking place. I'll reduce the time frame to kind of show the movements here. This is the volatility that we got during that time, right? Huge, almost 1% candle drop right over here in just 15 minutes. Crazy stuff. And we hit our low of 114,754. But people were willing to buy either way because we got our projections, we got everything. We see, hey, this will be 3 basis point rate cuts in total for this year. That is what we were expecting, and that is a good thing overall. So why should we be dropping? We shouldn't. That's ultimately the sentiment that I think everybody else got. Okay, Bank of Canada. We also had our interest rate decision, which we did get a 25 basis point rate cut as well. Some argue we should not have really done that. But hey, the economy is pretty bad. So yeah. That's pretty much it for that. We do have more updates on the Canadian economy as well. Well, geopolitics, really. Politics. The Transport Minister, Chrystia Freeland, steps down from cabinet. If you're not aware who this lady is, he was like the vice president when Justin Trudeau was in office, right? The previous prime minister that we had. Deputy prime minister is what she would be. She stepped down before Justin Trudeau resigned. And that was because everybody knew the Liberal government then was really bad and was screwing up the country. Okay. She steps down, resigns, and then Justin Trudeau resigns. Then she, you know, picks up from where she left off again, is like, okay, I will replace Justin Trudeau as the next Liberal candidate, right? But then so did Mark Carney, which is the current Liberal Prime Minister that we have. And, you know, in between the Liberal Party themselves, they had their little vote, and ultimately it came down to these two people, Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland right here. She lost. Mark Carney was decided to be the leader of the Liberal Party, so he was sworn into office without an election. Just, you know, Liberal government is still in power. We need a new leader. It's Mark Carney now. Enjoy. Okay, cool. So Mark Carney is in office, but we were like, hey, that's not fair. It's also going to be election time, so you better call an election. So they called an election. Here we are. Mark Carney wins because he came up with the narrative that Orange Man bad, and everybody believed it. Good timing, because that's exactly when the tariffs were coming out full force. In April, that's when the elections were held. So that's why Mark Carney is in office, and he beat the conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre. But now that their summer vacation is over, they are back in the House of Commons. And he's letting him have it, honestly. The clips are amazing. Mark Carney's completely speechless, doesn't know what to say, is completely lost, dodging every question, and Pierre Poilievre is sharp as ever. And, yeah. He's got him. Anyways, but she's not fully gone. She didn't fully resign. She just kind of got replaced to a more irrelevant role, I would say. Prime Minister Mark Carney announces the changes to the ministry and thanks Minister Freeland for her service in cabinet and for the critical work she will undertake as Canada's new special representative for the reconstruction of Ukraine. Wow, what a unimportant role. Why do we care? Why do we have this? For Ukraine? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I guess she wasn't happy either way that she did fall from power, I guess. She was deputy prime minister. She was about to be prime minister. Mark Carney takes her spot, and she kind of gets demoted to Minister of Transportation. I don't know, what do you even do there? Whatever. She resigns from that. Now she's going to be doing... She's a social representative for the reconstruction of Ukraine. What? Anyway. We also have more members of parliament from the Liberal Party. A rumor that Jonathan Wilkinson, Bill Blair, and Stephen Guilbeault will be leaving parliament in coming weeks. Not confirmed, not sure if that's true. We'll see though. Ontario, our wonderful province, we're expected to have the worst economic growth in Canada thanks to Trump's tariffs. Okay, Orange Man bad. We're still following with that narrative. Grow up. Beef prices in Canada have reached an all-time high. The average cost of ground beef increased by 25% in the last year. And on top of that, we are cutting rates, by the way. So inflation, money printer, it's going to be higher. When questioned about this, like, hey, what are you going to do about the economy? That's what Pierre Poilievre asks Mark Carney. His response was, well, we have a lower inflation rate. No, we have a lower interest rate than the US. Okay, really? Like, what about the deficit? What about, you know, all this money that you're spending? The new Build House program, whatever it was called, Build House Canada. We're spending $3 million per home. That math doesn't math. Okay. And they're modular homes. They're no good. So it's a mess. We'll see how things play out. I'll just sit in my bedroom and watch. Out the window. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase. He says that the interest rate for most checking accounts is 0% in Canada, which makes 0 sense. Even he figures that out. And at a time like this, when you know that inflation is going to come harder, interest rates are already dropping lower, things will get more expensive. This is why you need to own assets. You need to... I was talking about this with some friends the other day. Yeah, they're going to be cutting rates and inflation is going to go up. But that's good for something like my Bitcoins, right? Because you're devaluing the dollar by making it easier to acquire more supply. If the demand isn't there to keep up with that, you're just devaluing the currency. That is why you got to hold assets like Bitcoin, or it could be anything else. Some people say your house, some people say gold, whatever the case may be. And those kind of stuff appreciate in value. Or is it that the dollar is losing its value? Could be either or. Anyways, Coinbase Canada team, they say that on Coinbase, all Canadians can earn 4.1% uncapped rewards on USDC on Coinbase, and up to 4.5% with Coinbase One, which is their premium subscription program or whatever. So, hey, that's cool. We can buy USDC if the dollar exchange is okay. I haven't checked it in a moment, the CAD to US dollar. I'm a bit ignorant when it comes to that kind of forex. But yeah, you could get 4.1%, I guess. What, with staking, I assume? Alright, well. That's still relatively low. Like, I'd rather just, like, buy Bitcoin instead of buying and holding USDC. But hey, if you want to hold cash on the side, and that is also why I trade with USDC, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Like, this USDC that's doing nothing, sure, give me, like, minuscule interest on that. But that is only if I had a Coinbase. Holding assets is a hedge against inflation, but you get taxed on the inflated asset value, so we are screwed both ways, just less for owning assets. That is true, yet the tax is a big issue. That's why, though, like, I don't know, I've heard other ways of kind of avoiding that tax. Not to, like, be criminal about this or anything, but people are saying, like, yeah, if you have... I'm assuming this is with spot Bitcoin. You take a loan, take a collateral loan against your assets, and you just use that to buy more, and then you keep doing that. It's like this cycle. I don't know. I saw Jeff Bezos do something like that. That's how he did his tax evasion. He just takes loans infinitely every time on his own assets. Something like that. I'm not too well versed in that. I gotta study tax evasion more. We have a collaboration with Google and Coinbase to add crypto payments to its new AI payments protocol. Cool. Good. DeFi. Apple's Tim Cook, Nvidia's Jensen Huang, and OpenAI's Sam Altman will be going to have some dinner in the UK. Wonder why. What will these guys be discussing? I don't know. They all had the same kind of dinner at the White House with Trump. With everybody else there. Mark Zuckerberg, AMD, all those people, Google. So, and Bill Gates. Seems like that's something they do regularly. I mean, I would too if I was a billionaire. Hang out with my billionaire friends. This is big news, guys. The SEC has finally approved the generic listing standards for commodity-based trust shares, clearing the path for faster crypto ETF listings. This is the thing that I've been talking about since, I don't know if it was June or July. The reason why we keep seeing our ETFs, you know, spot ETF for, I don't know, Dogecoin, Polkadot, XRP, Sui, Solana, all of those getting delayed until October. Most of them, actually. Not all. It's all, I was saying, because of this thing. The blueprint to get these ETFs approved faster, you know, kind of like a checklist. Okay, does your asset, that your tokenized asset that you want to make it into an ETF, does it follow all these rules? Does it meet our requirements? Okay, it passes regulations. Okay, boom, easy. Quick approval. Your spot ETF is now live. That finally is a thing. So they figured it out at last, and that should speedrun all of these approvals that we have been waiting for. And once again, that is another catalyst for something like alt season. I know it sucks, we're importing Wall Street and they're too sensitive, but hey, boy do they bring volume to the market, and that's kind of what we need when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Exactly, just in time for alt season, so it's perfect. Did you guys see this? This is so funny. This is like some Nebuchadnezzar type stuff, if you know what I'm saying. There's been a 12-foot golden statue of President Trump just built in front of the Capitol on 3rd Street, and he's holding a Bitcoin. I don't know if this is like pure gold, but this is just crazy. A Trump statue holding a Bitcoin in front of the White House. Wow, there you go. What a world we live in, huh? That's so crazy. And this was just unveiled a couple hours ago, right after the FOMC stuff, which suspiciously timed, you know, we were like down over here. Okay, hold on. Let me go to like the 15-minute chart to kind of figure out exactly when this happened. We kind of recovered here at 5 o'clock. So right here, we started going back up in price as soon as we see this kind of stuff happen, because it's pretty funny. And everybody's like, oh, Trump, Bitcoin, gold statue. I buy Bitcoin. I'm sure the price has gone up because of that. Funny. Okay, guys, reality check time. So the cycle is 97% complete, according to this kid. Why is everyone offended by this? So hear me out. It's not even my opinion. I'm literally giving you facts. We are 1,030 days into this bull cycle, quote-unquote bull cycle. There's 515 days that have passed after the 4th halving. Historical peaks come from 518 to 580 days post-halving. Another reason why we are so close to that alt season. This means we've got 35 to 65 days max. And that should lead us into, like I said, October, November. See, September is supposed to be the worst trading month. On average, historically speaking, you're down 6% in Bitcoin's history. Although that has been defied last year, and it is currently being defied this year in front of our own eyes, right? Q4 returns give a 51% on average, which also coincides to what we're about to enter in. If you actually use your brain, math is simple. Okay, pal. Realistic top is 160 to 180k. I placed mine at 170, I think. But it's one of the numbers I mentioned. I'm giving you lots of targets. Like I'm saying always, my personal target's 135,000, but that's because I'm a chicken. I just want to take it out early and be done. I'll just wipe my hands clean and good luck. Enjoy your gains, guys, if it does reach that. But I see another targets at 150,000. I see a lot of people talk about that. This guy's putting his target at 160 to 180,000. Sure, 170,000. I'm seeing lots of targets around here as well. Sure. The 200,000 stuff, I don't buy it, if I'm going to be honest. I feel like anything can happen in this bull run. It's going to, like, the peak of the cycle is where it's at, of course, right? But you're asking Bitcoin to duplicate its market cap. Is there trillions of dollars sitting around to just pour into Bitcoin specifically? I don't know if I buy that. Yeah, the optimistic one is 210k plus. I don't know about that. It may come even if there's massive post-FOMC drop. This, of course, was a post before the FOMC. Happened yesterday. We have a CME gap at 92,000. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Anyways, the window is closing. That is why whales sold at fastest pace since 2022. Large holders always leave early. I think myself included there. Think about it. Market peak is max risk at wealth all-time high. They can't risk losing billions to waiting. Small traders can afford to be late. Minus 50% from $100 won't hurt, but big capital has to leave early because we're talking hundreds of thousands or even millions, even billions if you're crazy. Just as if you got mad at me saying Bitcoin is at 115,000 right now. If that makes you feel uncomfortable, it means you're likely closer to $100 than say 8 figures. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. If I'm wrong, cycle extends and we're all getting rich. Wouldn't it be cool? That could also be a possibility. The fact that we don't even get a bear market anymore. It's just up only. Although I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have our phase with a bear market. Something is going to have to happen. Some war. Israel might go at it again. China might as well just invade Taiwan. Russia might as well just start invading other NATO countries. Something could happen. Nothing is guaranteed. Sure, I hope we rip straight to all-time high without correction, but I don't trade on hope. Numbers don't lie. If the facts upset you, you're the problem. Yeah, I agree with most of this. So there you go. Top important news and narratives for today. In the macro, we got the Fed rate decision. Time zones are off, of course, Powell's speech, and Trump visits the UK. That is true. He is visiting Prince Charles, whatever the Prince of the UK is, or King Charles. I'm sorry. I still think, what is her name? Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth is still the queen. She passed away like when? 2 years ago? Anyways, crypto. We have an announcement for W. I don't know what this coin is. Senate Banking Committee Roundtable. Aster TGE airdrop claim. These are coins I've never seen. The Stellar event, Meridian. It's happening today and tomorrow. Stellar moved it all. It's been up. Okay. Hoping something good comes out of that at least. Flow Forte testnet. ZK unlocks 10 million. That's bearish. Listings. Toshi will be listed on Upbit. Maiga will be listed on Binance. I seen this coin here too, Maiga. I have no idea what it is. Here it is. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know who wants to buy this. What does this even do? Do I research this? I really don't want to. Where is CoinMarketCap? Here. Let me type Maiga. Number 923. That is very low market cap. Load faster. Just tell me what it's about. AI agent powered platform designed for DeFi and crypto trading. Uses technologies as model context protocol, trusted execution environments, multimodal inputs, zero knowledge proofs to create autonomous AI agents that operate transparently and securely. Uses proof of trading consensus. I never heard of this. Might be worth something to look into. Toshi and Holo getting listed on Bitum, Bake, Hi-Fi, Slurf. No, that's not Slurf. It's something else. Delisted on Binance as Toshi, and STBL getting listed on futures of Binance. Narratives. The US and UK announced $42 billion tech pact focusing on AI. The UK is set to announce closer crypto cooperation with the US. Solana treasury company Ford launched $4 billion ATM program. I do have that news somewhere here. That's not it. That's not it. It's this one. So Forward Industries. It's not Ford, by the way. The ticker says Ford, but it's not like the car Ford. It's Forward Industries. The ticker for the car Ford is just the letter F. It has launched a $4 billion at-the-market equity program to fuel its Solana treasury strategy and broader growth plans. Solana as treasury. It's happening, guys. Project updates. 0G launched airdrop registration. Zan, Next, DL, Bitcoin, Metaplanet established a new US subsidiary. Okay, Metaplanet is like Japanese MicroStrategy, if you don't know. Alpha, Hype, new proposal to introduce event perpetuals. Interesting. Fetch, Ray, 21 shares launched 2 new ETPs in Europe. Okay. Tether will release open source password manager. What? Cool. Bonk, Litecoin, Sui. Total Capital is filing to launch those ETFs. An ETF for Bonk, an ETF for Litecoin, and for Sui. I'm obviously more optimistic for Sui. Binance is in talks to end Department of Justice Compliance Monitor. Cool. AV&T, World Liberty Financial, Sky, Kronos. Coinbase will list futures on September 18. Okay, so you could trade with leverage on those on Coinbase. That's what I don't know. Like, can you use Coinbase in the United States with leverage? In Canada, it gives you the option to, but it says, like, as soon as you start wanting to trade, it says, oh, you don't have permission to do this in your region. So it's like, okay, so what's the point? Just buy in spot. I could just use crypto.com for that and it's lower fees. Anyway. Yep, that's all we really got. Galaxy set to launch its own tokenized money market fund. Cool. Good stuff. Time to talk about Pump.Fun. Have you guys seen the crazy stuff that's going on there? Their price has been going up pretty good, although it's kind of retraced a little. Oh, never mind. We're back up 8% out of nowhere. Okay, cool. I saw the price literally right here, and I was like, should I enter? I don't think I will. No, we're already skyrocketing back at it. It had a great run so far. Like, this rally has been really strong. Pretty sure what did I do here? I purchased down here or something, and I sold, like, over here. And then I saw it come back, then I'm like, yes, I'm a genius. This is a dead coin until Solana becomes famous again. Lo and behold, Solana did become famous again. And Pump.Fun followed significantly harder. Now I feel like it's too late to enter, but I could be wrong. Meme coins are really hot on Solana, especially Pump.Fun right now. Memecore as well is another platform similar to Pump.Fun in terms of an L1 for meme coins. That's been going really well. So there's just stuff like this going on. Of course, you get the classic rug pull. You start off with 1,500. You click the rug pull button. You go back. Your 1,500 balance now becomes 38,500. Congratulations. That's how you make quick and easy money by scamming people. It's getting crazy. Here's a story of this disabled fellow right over here. Oh my gosh. He said he has 120 hours to live, so he creates a meme coin called 120 hours. He says, oh, I want you guys to, you know, buy my coin. The fees will go to my family. I don't know what a rug pull is. I don't want to say the R slur, but you get the point. Then he fully clipped us and went offline. You got rug pulled by this guy. Like, come on. All right. That was a bit of a funny one. You got people literally eating their own poop on Pump.Fun for $300. We shouldn't allow kids for... Because they got the live streaming available again, so that's why this stuff is happening. You got people climbing cell phone towers. Yeah, I don't know. This is like the new brain rot, I guess. You have a grandma, a 100-year-old grandma, that's rug pulling you guys. And then she laughs about it. Surely there's like her grandson like doing the rug pulling for her and he just put his grandma on the camera. Is she actually 100 years old? Oh my. Crazy stuff. Then you got another guy. This is weird. He gets banned for streaming in Gaza. So he was showing the war footage in Gaza. He's live streaming on Pump.Fun. Then he gets banned by the Pump.Fun admins. After they ban, the coin receives a huge influx of new buyers, which skyrockets it to $1.3 million market cap, I'm assuming is what it is. As of right now, the ticker is Gaza coin. It's so crazy. And that's like, it's literally the Streisand effect, right? They're trying to suppress something, and then it just draws so much attention to it that it just becomes overly famous. Is that real? Is this like... I don't know if it's this one. These don't have a big market cap, although it's probably this one. This does not look natural. This is a 1 hour chart. No, it's not this one. Alright, cool. I accidentally closed something. So you got stuff like that going on Pump.Fun. The devs, I've mentioned, they gotta do something to prevent all these rug pulls because it's... Yeah, what's the point? Why is there a rug pull button? Come on. Can Pump's automated liquidity locks finally kill rug pulls? Solana's meme coin dominance says yes, but who's auditing the unruggable code? That's one way to kind of resolve it, I guess. You lock liquidity automatically. That should stop you from taking all the liquidity all at once. That is what a rug pull is. You just take everybody's funds and the project dies. Right? Circle has invested in Hyperliquid, ironic, saying that it's considering becoming a validator and exploring both Hyper EVM and the HIP-3 incentive programs. I don't know, man. They're going to be a competitor now, and you want to allow them to be your validators? It's just shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion, for Hyperliquid. In my opinion, Hyperliquid should not partner with Circle for that. That's just me, though. Obviously, Circle can't do that. They're a big company, and Hyperliquid has used USDC for a very long time. But we've seen the impact of Hyperliquid's new stablecoin that they will be launching, USDH, so that they would move away from Circle's stablecoin, USDC. And that's why we had a crash in the stock price of Circle, which is now public on the stock exchange, by the way. So I don't know about this one. But hey, you do you. Next Star Media. This has to do with Charlie Kirk stuff. Leftists talking bad about Charlie Kirk. One of the nation's largest TV station groups has announced that they will indefinitely pull ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live. I'm sure you heard of this guy. After the late night host's recent remarks about Charlie Kirk. ABC affiliates informed the network they would no longer air the show. The specifics about it, I think he said that he was the shooter, Tyler Robinson, was MAGA. He was a MAGA supporter, right? Which is false, of course. There was a picture going out there, but it was AI, like a Photoshop picture of the guy in full MAGA gear. So, you know. Anyway, I'm pretty sure nobody really watched it. And there was, I want to see if I could find it. It's probably not going to be here. There was literally a post from Charlie Kirk from 2017 saying, Jimmy Kimmel is not funny, or something like that. And people are like quote tweeting that, like, yeah, screw that guy. Anyway, funny. I like space, so I'm gonna cover this. A skyscraper-sized asteroid will be live-streamed as it skims past Earth on September 18. FA-22 will be 520,000 miles away, which is about twice the distance to the moon. Will we even see this in space? Maybe the fire trail, that would be pretty cool. And where will we see this? That's what I kind of want to know. How to watch live stream. Okay, well, I guess I'll click on suspicious link. My Wi-Fi is really bad. Oh, this is specifically talking about Charlie Kirk getting shot while talking about trans gun violence. Yeah. Yeah, this page is not loading. We're never going to see that live stream, but it should be happening tomorrow. Asteroid tomorrow. Enjoy view. Before I talk about this, Trump also commented on the Jimmy Kimmel show. The ratings challenged Jimmy Kimmel's show is canceled. Great news for America. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. Funny. I never watched Jimmy Kimmel. The only thing I've seen is like little clips from him, like trash talking Donald Trump himself, and also I think crying when Trump won the election or something. Yeah, something crazy like that. But anyway. There's that. And last is basically this. Trump says he's pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I'm designating Antifa, a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster, as a major terrorist organization. Oh boy. Does this mean we go to war now with Antifa? If you don't know, I guess like Antifa was what we think the Charlie Kirk shooter identified as, because he wrote the Antifa Italian slogan, the Bella Ciao thing, and, you know, thinks that Charlie Kirk was a fascist, so he's anti-fascist, and that's probably the reason why he killed him, right? He's now, like, facing possibility of charges of death penalty. It's not confirmed yet, I don't think, but prosecutors are looking into that. We'll see what happens with it, but yeah, there we go. Trump is now designating Antifa as a terrorist organization. Maybe it's about time. As long as it reduces political violence, so be it, right? I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, yeah, we shall see how that plays out. It's interesting that he's doing this. Everything is green, except for World Liberty Financial. Green, green. Nice. Yep, that is all for today. Should do a small special at the end where you tell us a bit about yourself. Background, education, career. Yeah. I think I could do that now. Sure. Well, my family is from Ecuador. I was born here in Canada, though. But yeah, my whole family, though, is from Ecuador. So I do speak Spanish. That is why you see some Spanish content on my channel. We only speak Spanish at home. So that is why. My education, I guess I've graduated from university for cybersecurity, fintech, financial technology, right? And also web development. So I know a lot about coding. I liked coding. I took a lot of computer science in high school. So one of my favorite things to do is I've always liked computers and coding. I was probably one of the top in my class. Wouldn't say I was the top because there were definitely other people in there better than I were. Yeah, so I'm pretty good with HTML, JavaScript, CSS, a lot of stuff with Node backend stuff. That's why when I understand stuff when people get hacked, because I also took cybersecurity. I understand about phishing. I understand about Metasploit, all this malware stuff that you can get into. And also when the NPM packages were recently hacked for cryptocurrencies, I understood all of that. So I wouldn't say it was a waste, me studying all of that. It did help me out a lot with what I'm currently doing. And specifically with fintech, financial technology, it taught me how to code in Python, and also it kind of introduced me to the world of finances, right? Because we were talking a lot about stocks, and I knew nothing about stocks at that time. I heard of crypto because in 2021, when everything was at all-time highs, I was like, wow, Shiba Inu coin, I can buy 7 million tokens. If this reaches $1, I will be a 7 millionaire, right? That was my mentality back then. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a fan of Terra Luna and that kind of stuff. Then Terra Luna crashed. I lost a lot of money there. I was buying some Bitcoin, but not as much as I should have. What was I mainly buying? I think I was mainly buying Terra Luna, Shiba Inu, Cardano. And of course, we see where those coins are today. Still either have not fully gone up enough or just gone completely. And it was all on spot market, right? I was also buying a lot of like Crypto.com related projects, VVS, Tectonic, that kind of stuff. So, and Crypto.com as well, just a lot of Chronos tokens. So that was kind of my introduction to Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin, but like to crypto. It was not a good start. But at that time I was also working. I was working as a collections agent, which also got me more to understand how interest works, credit cards. It was for a credit card company, right? So we had to make phone calls, call people during the pandemic times, which was a great experience because everybody was out of a job and people would tell you how you're going to die over the phone. So it was cool, but it wasn't too bad for me. I was given the ability to work from home and also study from home. So that was a blessing in my opinion. I got all of that completed. I graduated on those courses. I became a manager position at my job there, so I wasn't on the phones too much. It was more back-end stuff, and you know, you got to give it you get more experience in like customer service because just complaint resolutions that you got to handle. lots of back-end stuff. So I got experience in that sense. And then, of course, like the where I was working at, the offices, they wanted us to come back to the office, and they also moved offices a little further away from me, and I was like, okay, well, that's a little too far for me. I can't commit to going there every day. It's taking like 4 hours out of my day to travel there every day. So I was like, no, it's not worth it. So then my mother at the time was also, you know, she's still stuck with like the stocks and crypto since 2021. And she was like, look, it's starting to come back again. I'll help you out. Study it. I'll support you. You know, start learning about it as much as you can. And I'm here to back you up, basically. So I was like, okay, sure. I'll do it. I'll give it another shot. And by then, this was February, March of 2024, last year. That is when Bitcoin made its first rise back up to basically the $60,000, $70,000 that we once saw it at in 2021. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin is back at least. How are the other coins? Solana was coming back. Ethereum was coming back. I was like, okay, well, now's a great time to invest. I started investing, and then Israel goes to war against Iran. Okay, great. A lot of crashing, lots of liquidations, lost a lot of money there, but I'm like, okay, I'm not going to give up this time. And I eventually made more than what I lost. But then I lost again because another war happened, or recession fears were happening in August of last year. You know, bad economic data was constant. Stagflation was a thing. So that's kind of my little crypto journey. But thanks to Trump winning, of course, I've documented all of this live on my channel. You'll see my actual reactions on everything going on. Bitcoin continued making all-time highs. It broke 100,000. Then I went on vacation. I didn't do much trading there, but yeah, it was cool. But then February, things started crashing down again, and then that's when I came back from vacation and started streaming again. I already made some good profits, but I did lose a lot again. Lost like 18,000. So I'm like, okay, gotta recover all this. And I did. By July, I'm very much in the green, and I've not been in the red since. And I don't think I will. But maybe, I don't know, famous last words? We'll see. So yeah, that's basically my background, my education, my career. And you're an engineer, that's cool. Good stuff, man. For now, like, reason I started doing this was because I was like, okay, I gotta force myself to actually analyze and talk about this stuff. If you teach it to other people, you gotta know a lot about the subject yourself. So that kind of forces me to learn about it every time. And I find it helpful because I'm always checking Twitter, I'm always staying informed on the news, and I'm like, oh, I could talk about this on the stream tonight. It's not specifically for that, but while I'm saying this stuff, I'm like, okay, I could save this for later. I know what's happening in real time. You know, I can help prepare myself, my portfolio. It's been working out really good so far. People ask me about it usually when I talk to people outside of this. They're like, yeah, how's your, you know, what are you doing? Are you working or are you studying? I'm like, okay, well, I don't work. I don't really study. This is my work and study, I guess. I study the news. I study cryptocurrencies, what the projects do. I'm looking into everything all the time. And it pays me. So it's basically my job. And it's made me enough where I'm like, yeah, this could absolutely replace, like I'm making more than what I would have made at my normal job, my, you know, receiving a salary and going to work every day and dealing with people, which people are not nice to deal with, especially if they're Canadian people, ironically. Because Canadian people are known for being nice and polite and all that. And I had a lot of good, very heartwarming and wholesome cases when I was at my collections job. But man, some people are also nasty sometimes. But I don't let it get to me. I'm used to taking a lot of insults, and I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. You're the scum at the end of the day, you know. You're in the wrong, right? So, like, I never let it affect me. So, I was fine with it. And that's a good way, that's a good thing to do, right? Everybody's allowed to express what they want to say, and you shouldn't take it personally because, you know, you could also say the same thing about them. And you're probably right about it, right? So, yeah, that's, also before this, just one more thing, actually. As I was looking for another job, because I am still looking for work, I was working at, like, a an insurance agency, which also I would say was good because it helped me learn a lot about the Canadian financial system, about the programs that we offer, like retirement savings plans, tax-free savings accounts, first home buyer accounts, all that stuff. It helped me learn a lot, helped me understand, like, yeah, we shouldn't have our money in the bank. We should always have our money invested and working for us. But like part of it was also like, okay, but you have to like buy a life insurance and, pay for it every month, and you're going to be an insurance agent. So this is all commission based. You have to find your own clients. You have to get them enrolled in insurance programs, and then we pay you that commission if you successfully enroll somebody or their family, whoever it is, right? On any type of insurance. Could be disability insurance, accident and sickness insurance. Not specifically like car or home insurance, none of that. It's more like personal insurance, right? For disabilities, for your children, education savings programs, and life insurance, right? So I learned a lot about that. I had to study a lot, pass a lot of exams, and ultimately get my license. So yeah, I'm technically a licensed financial advisor, which I guess I held that title. It was cool, but it's like you got to also pay for your own insurance of errors and omissions insurance, which is like, it's to protect you in court if somebody claims you spread misinformation to them, because financial advisory is like a serious job, right? You're telling people where to put their money into, and if you say the wrong things or you give them misinformation, or if you tell them to put their money into something that benefits you instead of the client, they can sue you for that, right? So you got to pay for this other insurance that would like protect you if in the case you do get sued. And that was a high fee, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to do this. And the other issue is like you got to be an extroverted guy. It's like sales, right? Multi-level marketing, the better you are at your job, I guess, the more you get paid for it, of course. That should be the business model. Makes sense. But everybody's like, oh no, this is a pyramid scheme. It's multi-level marketing. And, it was discouraging. But also, like, you have to find your own clients. And I'm not an extroverted guy. Dealing with people is really hard for me, especially with COVID. Like, during COVID, yeah, I was talking to a lot of people on the phone, though. It was all scripted. I'm all like repeating the exact same stuff every time. That's why maybe my voice could sound a little robotic at times. But it's like, I don't know. So, like, yeah, it was all by a script, and very, very, like, infrequently I would go off script to have like a genuine conversation with a person on the phone. But most of it is like, okay, business, can you make this minimum payment? Your due date is on this date. Hey, I'm gonna hold off the calls for you. We're gonna call you back on this date. Just gonna call back to make sure we received your payment. It can take 3 to 5 business days. Stay under your credit limit. All that stuff, right? You gotta say the same stuff to everybody. So that kind of ruined my, I don't know, my speech pattern, my way of interacting with people. And it was all like working from home, and I did it for years. I was there for 4 years doing that. So 4 years of waking up every day, doing a lot of overtime, which, I mean, it helped me because I got a lot of good stats. I was collecting good amounts from people, and that ultimately got me promoted and everything. So that helped me out there. But yeah, it was rough for like my social life. I didn't talk with anybody after high school kind of thing. I don't even know why. I could have, but it was just like, no, zero friend interactions. It was like, oh, everybody's got COVID. If I call somebody, I'm going to catch COVID like through my speakerphone into my ear or something. I don't know. It was like this odd moment in life, and it was like, it was new for everybody, right? We were all scared. We were like, oh my gosh, is everybody even going to get through this pandemic thing? And I'd like also express my concerns about the vaccine. I'm a young, healthy 23-year-old boy. I don't need no vaccine. That's only for old people. But my family works outside, right? They come home with COVID and I'm not vaccinated. I could die. And I'm like, I don't want to die. So I'll take this suspicious vaccine. I'll get the shot, whatever. I don't know. I felt... Maybe this is placebo, but I just feel like I'm getting... Every time I get sick, it's like worse. right? It'll last for much longer than what it's supposed to last like. So, anyways, odd time, the COVID times, huh? Yeah, forget where I was going with this, but yeah, that's basically my background. Yeah, cool. Hope you found that entertaining or learned something new about me. So yeah, gonna stick with doing this crypto stuff until maybe I find if I do find a job, like I prefer it of course to be in the mornings. I don't even know if I want it to be in the mornings. I really want, like, an ideal world, a part-time job that will be like from noon to like 4 or like 1 to 5. I don't know, just give me 4 hours of work in the afternoon so that I could come home at like 6, have my dinner, and then check the news and stream. That would be a cool thing. In the mornings, of course, I always like I'm looking at pre-market analysis kind of stuff, looking at stocks, looking at the news there, looking at my crypto portfolio, making any adjustments. You know, my morning time is also sacred. And I also do my little exercise as well, because I can't be sitting down all day. It's going to be bad for me, and I feel like that also damaged me physically as well. I wouldn't say there's nothing wrong with me physically, but it's like my back just hurts a lot more frequently these days. And it's because, yeah, 4 years of working, it was like an office job. I'm always sitting at my computer, and yeah, from open to close, I'd just be sitting down, right? It affected me in that way too. So, I don't know. For me professionally, it was all a blessing, I'd say. The COVID thing, it didn't impact me too heavily. Nobody was seriously damaged in my family by COVID. The vaccines, it's a separate issue, but it's fine. At the end of the day, I'm still kicking, so we're still alive. That's all that matters. And ultimately, everything has brought me to where I am right now. I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. Still lonely, because, I don't know, I don't talk to my friends that often. That's just a me issue, though, like my antisocial behavior. I also put that the blame on COVID, but I gotta change eventually. I gotta start working out more. Gotta start hitting the gym. I would like to have some bigger muscles, anyway. And ultimately get richer with the cryptos. So that's my goal. And I'm hoping, like, if I actually get like a physical job, even if it's part-time, I'd make some extra passive income on the side. Not passive, it's active income. Some small source of income at least, right? So that I have something to pay the most minuscule bills. I try to spend as least as possible. My phone bill is super cheap. Decent enough plan for me to survive. I don't gotta worry about food or gas bills, like, as I still live with my family, but I still help them out in any way if needed. And they understand what I'm doing, right? I'm very open with it, and they see, like, okay, yeah, I am still making money, and to make money, I need money. Money makes money. So that's my other thing. Yeah, okay, yeah, for real, though, that is all, really. There's my little background story. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new for the cryptocurrencies. I mean, what do we have for this week? Do we even have any economic data? I don't think we do. Bank of England, who cares? Friday, yeah, nothing's happening. So Friday, Trump, Xi Jinping, and then a lot of options expiry. That's the only volatility that it could really bring. I'm sure Thursday, I'm hoping, maintains itself as an update, right? The US market should see, like, hey, you know what? It's not that bad. We're getting 3 rate cuts. Let's just pump. I'm hoping that's the case. And yeah. All right, great. Great. That'll be all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe. I will see you tomorrow. We'll discuss any bits of news that comes up by then. All right. Have a good rest of your evening.